Hello, everybody. This is Jimmy, and you're reading with Jimmy. We're reading Homer's Odyssey. This is an epic poem translated by Robert Fitzgerald. Book 2. Ready? A hero's son awakes. We left off with Telemachus going to sleep and thinking about what Athena told him. If you remember, the goddess Athena visited him, disguised, of course. But he figured it out. Ready? When primal dawn spread on the eastern sky her fingers of pink light, Odysseus's true son stood up, drew on his tunic and his mantle, slung on his sword belt and a new-edged sword, tied his smooth feet into good rawhide sandals, and left the room, a god's brilliance upon him. And he found the criers with clarion voices and told them to muster up the unshorn Achaeans, Greeks, in full assembly. The call sang out, and the men came streaming in. And when they filled the assembly ground, he entered, spear in hand, with 2 quick hounds at heel. Athena lavished on him a sunlit grace that held the eye of the multitude. Old men made way for him as he took his father's chair. Now Lord Aegyptios, who was an elderly wise lord counselor of Ithaca, the very first person to speak at this assembly, bent down and, sage with years, opened the assembly. This man's son had served under the great Odysseus, gone in the deck ships with him to the wild horse country of Troy, a spearman, Anthropos by name. The ravenous Cyclops in the cave destroyed him, last in his feast of men. This is also called foreshadowing, right? We haven't met the Cyclops yet, but apparently Cyclops was the one who ate this guy last, right? 3 other sons the old man had. One was Euronymous, went with the suitors. So this guy's with the suitors, and 2 farmed for their father. Got it? That's this guy right here, a counselor in Ithaca. All right. But even so, the old man pined, remembering the absent one, the one who was eaten by the Cyclops, and a tear welled as he spoke. Hear me, Ithacans. Hear what I have to say. No meeting has been held here since our king Odysseus left port in the decked ships. Who finds occasion for assembly now? One of the young men? One of the older lot? Has he had word that our fighters are returning? News to report, if he got wind of it? Or is it something else, touching the realm? The man had vigor, I should say, more power to him. Whatever he desires, may Zeus fulfill it. The old man's words delighted the son of Odysseus, who kept his chair no longer, but stood up, eager to speak in the midst of all the men. The crier, Person, master of the debate, brought him the staff and placed it in his hand. And then the boy touched the old man's shoulder and said, No need to wonder any more, sir, who called this session. The distress is mine. As to our troops returning, I don't have any news. News to report, if I got wind of it, nor have I any public business to propose, only my need and the trouble of my house, the troubles. My distinguished father is lost, who ruled among you once, mild as a father. And there is now this greater evil still. My home and all that I have are being ruined. Mother wanted no suitors, but like a pack they came, sons of the best men here among them. Lads with no stomach for an introduction to Icaros, her father across the sea. He would require a wedding gift and give her to someone who found favor in her eyes. No. These men spend their days around our house, killing our beeves and sheep and fatted goats, carousing, soaking up our good dark wine, not caring what they do. They squander everything. We have no strong Odysseus to defend us. And as to putting up a fight ourselves, we'd only show our incompetence in arms. Expel them? Yes, if only I had the power. The whole thing's out of hand. Insufferable. My house is being plundered. Is this courtesy? Where is your indignation? Where is your shame? Think of all the talk in the island all around us, and fear the wrath of the gods. Or they may turn and send you some devilry. Friends, by Olympian Zeus and holy justice that holds men in assembly and sets them free, make an end of this. Let me lament in peace my private lust. Or did my father Odysseus ever do injury to the armed Achaeans, Greeks? Did he hurt any of you? Is this your way of taking it out on me, giving free rein to these young men? I might better see my treasure and livestock taken over by all of you than to feed these guys, them. I'd have some remedy, and when we met in public in the town, I'd press my claim. You might make restitution. This way, you hurt me when my hands are tied. And in hot anger, now he threw the staff on the ground, his eyes grown bright with tears. A wave of sympathy ran through the crowd, all hushed, and no one there had the audacity to answer harshly except Antonius, who said, quote, "What high and mighty talk, Telemachus. There's no holding you. You want to shame us and humiliate us, but you should know that the suitors are not to blame. It's your own dear, incomparably cunning mother. For 3 years now, and it'll soon be 4, she's been breaking the hearts of the Achaeans, the Greeks." Antonius blames Penelope. Aha! Holding out hope to all and sending promises to every man privately, but thinking otherwise. Here is an instance of her trickery. She had her great loom standing in the hall, and the fine warp of some vast fabric on it. And we were all attending her, and she said to us, quote, "Young men, my suitors, now my lord is dead, let me finish my weaving before I marry, or else my thread will have been spun in vain. It is a shroud that I weave for Lord Laertes, and when Laertes, he's the father of Odysseus, when cold death comes to lay him on his bier, on his funeral pyre, the country wives would hold me in dishonor if he, with all his fortune, lay unshrouded." So she's making something for Laertes. "We have men's hearts," she touched them, we agreed. And so every day she wove on the great loom, but every night by torchlight she unwove it. And so for 3 years she deceived us, the Achaeans. And when the seasons brought the 4th year around, one of her maids who knew the secret told us. We found, pause for a moment, these guys are pretty stupid. We found her unraveling the splendid shroud that she had to finish then, although she hated it. Now here is the suitor's answer. You and all the Achaeans mark it well. Dismiss your mother from the house, or make her marry the man that her father names and she prefers. Does she intend to keep us dangling forever? She may rely too long on Athena's gifts, talent in handicraft, clever mind, so cunning. History can't show the like among the ringlet ladies of Achaea, Menke with her coronet, Alme, Tyro, wits like Penelope's never were before. But this time, well, she made poor use of them. For here are suitors eating up your property as long as she holds out. And that's a plan that some god put in her mind. She makes a name for herself, but you can feel the loss it means for you. Our own affairs can wait. We'll never go anywhere else until she takes an Achaean to her liking." But clear-headed Telemachus replied, "Antonius, Can I banish against her will the mother who bore me and took care of me? My father is either dead or far away, but dearly I should pay for this. At Icarus's hands, if I ever sent her back. The powers of darkness would require it, too. My mother's parting curse would call all hell's furies to punish me, along with the scorn of men. No, I can never give the word for this. But if your hearts are capable of shame, leave my great hall, and take your dinner elsewhere. Consume your own stores. Turn and turn about. Use one another's house. And if you choose to slaughter one man's livestock and pay nothing, this is rapine. And by the eternal gods, I beg Zeus, you shall get what you deserve. A slaughter here, and nothing paid for it. It's important. Give it a little arrow. That's foreshadowing. So now Zeus, who views the wide world, sent a sign to him, launching a pair of eagles from a mountain crest. In gliding flight down, the soft blowing wind, wingtip to wingtip, quivering taut, companions, till high above the assembly many voices they willed, their dense wings beating, and in havoc dropped on the heads of the crowd, a deathly omen, wielding their talons, tearing cheeks and throats. They veered away on the right hand through the city. Astonished, gaping after the birds, the men felt their hearts flood, foreboding things to come. And now they heard the old Lord Halareses, forgive my pronunciations, okay? A wise prophet and loyal friend of Odysseus, son of Mastor, keenest among the old at reading bird flight into acute speech. So they had people who can read the signs. In his anxiety for them, he rose, Halareses, and said, quote, "Hear me, Achaeans, hear what I have to say, and may I hope to open the suitors' eyes. To the black wave towering over them, I'm going to open your eyes, right? Odysseus will not be absent from his family long. He's already near, carrying in him a bloody doom for all of these men and sorrow for many more on our high sea mark, Ithaca. And let us not think how to stop it. Let the suitors drop their suit. They had better, without delay. You know, I'm old enough to know a sign when I see one. And I say all has come to pass for Odysseus, as I foretold when the Argives massed on Troy. And he, the great tactician, joined the rest. My forecast was that after 19 years, many blows weathered, all of his shipmates lost, himself unrecognized by anyone, he would come home. And I see this all fulfilled. Foreshadowing, right? He's telling them, be careful, Odysseus is not far. Polybus's son, Eurymachus, he's an Ithacan nobleman and one of the two main suitors for Penelope. He said, quote, "Old man, go tell the omens for your children at home and try to keep them out of trouble. I am more fit to interpret this than you are. Bird life aplenty is found in the sunny air, and not all of it is significant. And as for Odysseus, he perished far from home. You should have perished with him. Then we would be spared all this nonsense in the assembly. As good as telling Telemachus to rage on. Do you think you can gamble on a gift from him? Here's what I foretell. And it's quite certain if you, with what you know of ancient lore, encourage bitterness in this young man. It means for him only more frustration. He can do nothing whatsoever with these two eagles. And as for you, old man, we'll fix a penalty that you will groan to pay. Before the whole assembly, I advise Telemachus, send your mother to her father's house, and let them arrange her wedding there and fix a portion suitable for a valued daughter. And until he does this, courtship is our business, vexing though it may be. because we fear no one, certainly not Telemachus with his talk, and we care nothing for your divining, uncle, unless talk. You win more hatred by it. We share his meat, no thanks, more fee to him, and as long as she delays, Penelope delays and maddens us, it is a long, long time we have been waiting in rivalry for this beauty. And we could have gone elsewhere and found ourselves very decent wives. Clear-headed Telemachus said, Eurymachus, noble suitors all, I'm finished with appeals and argument. The gods know, and the Achaeans know these things. But give me a fast ship and a crew of 20 who will see me through a voyage out and back. I'll go to sandy Pylos and then to Sparta for news of my father, since he sailed from Troy. Some traveler's tale, perhaps, or a rumored fame issued from Zeus himself into the world. If Odysseus is alive and beating his way home, I might hold out for another weary year. But if they tell me that he's dead and gone, well, then I can come back to my own dear country and raise a mound for him, burn his gear with all of the funeral honors that befit him. Then I'll give my mother to another husband. The boy sat down in silence. Next to stand was Mentor, comrade in arms of the prince Odysseus, who was an old man now. Odysseus left him authority over his house and slaves to guard them well. In his concern, he spoke to the assembly. Quote, Hear me, Ithacans, hear what I have to say, and let no man, holding spectre as a king, be thoughtful, mild, kindly, or virtuous. Let him be cruel and practice evil ways. It is so clear that no one here remembers how like a gentle father Odysseus ruled you. I find it less revolting that the suitors carry their malice into violent acts. At least they stake their lives when they go pillaging the house of Odysseus. Their lives upon it, he will not come again. That's what they're betting. What sickens me is to see the whole community sitting still, never a voice or a hand raised against them. A mere handful compared with you. Lokoritos, Enore's son, replied to him. He's a suitor, another suitor. Hey, mentor, what mischief are you raking up? Will this crowd risk the sword's edge over a dinner? Suppose Odysseus himself indeed came in, found the suitors at his table. He might be hot to drive him out, and what then? Never would he enjoy his wife again, because the wife who loves him well, he'd only bring down abject death on himself against all these odds. In other words, there's too many of them, right? Madness to talk of fighting in this case. Psh. Now let all present go about their business. Hatherus and Mentor will speed the traveler. They can help him. They were his father's friends. I'd rather think that he will be sitting here a long time yet, waiting for news on Ithaca. That seafaring he spoke of is beyond him. And on this note, they were quick to end their parley. The assembly broke up. Everyone went home. The suitors home to Odysseus' house again. But Telemachus walked down along the shore and washed his hands in the foam of the gray sea. And he said this prayer, quote, O God of yesterday, guest in our house, who told me to take ship on a hazy sea for news of my father, listen to me and be near me. Who's he praying to? Athena, right? The Achaeans only wait and hope to hinder me, the damned insolent suitors most of all. Athena was nearby and came to him, putting on Mentor's figure and his tone, the warm voice and a lucid flight of words. So Athena here again takes the form of a human, right? Mentor, who was talking before. You'll never be faint-hearted or a fool, Mentor says. Athena says, Telemachus, if you have your father's spirit, he finished what he cared to say, and what he took in hand he brought to pass. The sea routes will yield their distances to his true son, Penelope's true son, and I doubt another's luck would hold so far. The son is rare who measures with his father, and 1 in 1,000 is a better man. That's important, right? But you will have the sap and wit and prudence, for you get that from Odysseus, to give you a fair chance of winning through. So never mind the suitors and their ways. There is no judgment in them, neither do they know anything of death, and the black terror close upon them. Notice what I gave you a note here? That's foreshadowing. They don't notice what? The black terror close upon them. Doomsday on them all. So you do not linger over going to sea. I sailed beside your father in the old days. I'll find a ship for you, and to help you sail her. So go home as if to join the suitors, but get provisions ready in containers. Some wine in 2-handled jugs, barley meal, the staying power of oarsmen in skin bags, watertight, and I'll go the rounds and call the crew of volunteers together. Hundreds of ships are beached on Skirtger, Ithaca. Let me but choose the soundest, old or new, and then we're going to rig her and take her out on the broad sea. This was the divine speech Telemachus heard from Athena, Zeus's daughter. He stayed no longer, but took his heartache home and found the robust suitors there at work, skinning goats, roasting pigs in the courtyard. Antonius came straight over, laughing at him, and took him by the hand with a bold greeting. He said, "High-handed Telemachus, control your temper. Come on, get over it. No more grim thoughts. Feast, drink with me, the way you used to. Come on. The Achaeans will attend to all of you that you ask for, ship, crew, crossing the Holy Land, whatever, for the news about your father." Telemachus replied with no confusion, "Antinous, I can't see myself again taking a quiet dinner in this company. Isn't it enough that you could strip my house under my very nose when I was young? And now that I know, being grown, what others say, I understand it all, and my heart is full. I'll bring black doom upon you if I can, either in Pylos, if I go, or in this country, and I will go all the way, if only as someone's passenger. I have no ship, no oarsman, and it suits you that I have none, doesn't it?" Calmly he drew his hand from Antonius's hand. At this the suitors, while they dressed their meat, began to exchange loud mocking talk about Telemachus. One young top-lofty gallant set the tone, quote, "Well, think of that. Telemachus has a mind to murder us. He's going to lead avengers out of Pylos or Sparta, maybe, huh? He's wild to do it, or else he'll try the fat land of Ephra. He can get poison there and bring it home and doctor the wine and kill us all, dispatch us all." And another took the cue and said, "Well, now, who knows? He might even be lost at sea, just like Odysseus, knocking around the ship far from his friends. And what a lot of trouble that would give us, huh? Yeah. Making the right division of things. We'd keep his house as dowry for his mother and the man who marries her." That was the drift of it. Telemachus went on through to the storeroom of his father, which was a great vault where gold and bronze lay piled, along with chests of clothes, fragrant oil, and there were jars of earthenware in rows holding old wine, mellow, unmixed, and rare. Cool stood the jars against the wall, kept for whatever day Odysseus, worn by hardship, might come home. The double folding doors were tightly locked and guarded night and day by serving woman Euryclea, granddaughter of Perseo, in her duty vigilant and shrewd, and Telemachus called her to the storeroom, saying, "Nurse, Get a few two-handled traveling jugs filled up with wine, the second best. Not that you keep your unlucky lord and king, hoping that he may have slipped away from death and may come home yet. Royal Odysseus. 12 amphorae will do. Seal them tight. So he's giving her orders what to take because he's going to get the ship that Mentor/Athena is going to give him. And pour out barley into leather bags. 20 bushels of barley meal ground fine. And now keep this to yourself. Collect these things, and after dark, when mother has retired and gone upstairs to bed, I will come for them. And then I'm going to sail to Pylos and then to Sparta to see what news there is of father's voyage. His loving nurse, Eurylochia, gave a cry and tears sprang to her eyes, and she wailed softly, quote, "Dear child, whatever put this in your head? Why do you want to go so far in the world? And you, our only darling. Lord Odysseus died in some strange place far from his homeland. And think how then you have turned your back, right, on these men. These men will plot to kill you and share all your things. Stay with your own. Don't do. Why should you suffer hardship and homelessness on the wild sea?" But seeing all clear, Telemachus said, quote, "Take heart, nurse. There's a God behind this plan. And you must swear to keep it from my mother until the 11th day or 12th, or until she misses me and hears that I'm gone. She must not tear her lovely skin lamenting." And so the old woman vowed by all the gods, and vowed again, to carry out Telemachus's wishes. And then she filled up the amphorae with wine, sifted barley meal into leather bags, and then Telemachus rejoined the suitors. Meanwhile, the goddess with gray eyes had other business, disguised as Telemachus. You see this? Athena is now disguising herself as Telemachus. She roamed the town, taking each likely man aside and telling him, quote, "Meet us at nightfall at the ship." Indeed, she asked Nomine, Priam's wealthy son, to lend her a fast ship, and he complied. Now, when at sundown shadows crossed the lane, she dragged to the cutter to the sea, and she launched it, fitted out with a tough sea-going gear, and she tied it up away from the harbor's edge. The crewmen gathered, sent there by the goddess, and then it occurred to the gray-eyed goddess Athena to pass inside the house of the hero Odysseus, showering a sweet drowsiness on the suitors, whom she presently wandering in their wine. And soon as they could hold up their cups no longer, they straggled off to find their beds in town, their eyes heavy-lidden, laden down with sleep. Then to Telemachus, the gray-eyed goddess appeared again with Mentor's form and voice. She's switching up and back, you see, calling him out a lofty, emptied hall. "Telemachus, your crew of fighting men is ready at the oars. Come on, they're waiting for you. Come on, no point in holding up the sailing." And Pallas Athena turned like the wind, running ahead of him. He followed in her footsteps down to the seaside, where they found the ship and the oarsmen with flowing hair at the water's edge, and Telemachus, now strong in the magic, cried, note, strong in the magic, "Come with me, friends, and let our rations down. They all packed for home, and my own mother knows nothing, only one maid was told." And so he turned and led the way, and they came after, carried and stowed all into the well-trimmed ship, as the dear son of Odysseus commanded. Telemachus then stepped aboard. Athena took her position aft, and he sat by her. And the two-stroke oars cast off the stern hawsers and vaulted over the gunwales to their benches. Gray-eyed Athena stirred them a following wind, souring from the northwest on the wind-dark sea, And as he felt the wind, Telemachus called to all hands to break out the mast and sail. They pushed the mast high, stepped it up firm amidships in the box, made fast the forestays, and then hoisted up the white sail on its halyards until the wind caught it, booming in the sail, and flushing waves sang backward from the bow on either side, and the ship got way upon her, holding her steady course. And now they made all secure in the fast black ship, and setting out the wine bowls all abrim, they made libation to the gods, the underling, the undying, the ever new, most of all to the gray-eyed daughter of Zeus. And the prow sheered through the night into the dawn. Whoa, what a great chapter. He's off and running, huh? The son of Odysseus. He's got his crew. He's got the god Athena with him. You've been reading The Odyssey by Homer, if there was a Homer. There's so many more books. This is the second book. There's 24. We got 22 to go. Aren't you excited? Be sure to visit and read the other classics on my website, YouTube channel. And remember, if you have questions, email me, Jimmy@readingwithjimmy.com, Jimmy@readingwithjimmy.com. Hope you enjoyed Chapter 2. Look forward to seeing you for Chapter 3. Take it easy.